What's up guys, Brock Ashby here, online personal trainer and body transformation coach. And in today's video, you probably don't own your own gym like this. And you might walk into a busy commercial gym like I have many times. I used to be a personal trainer in one. So what I'm doing in today's video is giving you options for busy gym supersets. Whether you have a squat rack, a cable, leg press, dumbbells and a bench, or just dumbbells, or if you have no equipment at all, I'm going to give you supersets that you can squeeze in so you can get a workout in when the gym's too busy. Let's get straight into it.
The first superset is going to be on the leg extension machine. So we're going to use the pad that goes up against the shin as the height for your Bulgarian split squat. So make sure it's about the height of a bench, which is what we usually use for the Bulgarian split squat. You take the dumbbells and you walk them over to the leg extension. And then as soon as you finish, it's very simple. You just put the dumbbells down, take a seat, and then you start working your leg extension. And the beauty of this is, once again, with the busy gym, you're not going to have to take up any space. All you have to do is get some dumbbells and then set up camp. The only time you may have to walk away from this station and risk losing the leg extension if you don't have a towel or a bottle on it is changing the dumbbells for the weight. But that's a pretty small risk that you have to take. This is a really awesome superset to do, challenging the quads in the lengthened position with the Bulgarian split squat and then the shortened position with the leg extension. Now, with a leg extension machine also, you can do a hip thrust like this. Now, my machine is a seated leg curl and a leg extension machine, so I'm going to be doing a seated leg curl after this. But first of all, you can do a hip thrust by putting the pad over your hips and then doing the hip thrust there, squeezing your glutes at the top, coming down for 3 seconds and exploding up nice and fast. You're probably going to have to put a lot of weight on this because hip thrust is a pretty strong movement. You'll probably be able to hip thrust more than you can seated leg curl or leg extension machine. Now, I'm just doing seated leg curl so that we can have a nice glute and hamstring superset, but you can also do glutes and a quad superset if you only have the leg extension machine, which is completely cool. If you do have a seated leg curl machine though, some tips here: you want to try and kick your heels as close as you can to your butt and really lower it out nice and slow. Next, we're moving over to the cable machine or the cable rack or the cell, whatever you want to call it. And this is a shoulder superset we have going on here. So this is my favorite lateral raise variation to hit the medial deltoids. It's the behind the back cable lateral raise. And the reason why I love it is because it's the hardest at the bottom of the rep and it gets easier as it gets towards the top, which is the exact opposite of the dumbbell lateral raise. And this is supersetted with a cable Y raise, which once again is hitting the medial deltoid or the side delts in a different position where it's hardest than a dumbbell lateral raise. Now, the dumbbell lateral raise is the standard exercise that we do for shoulders. We grab some dumbbells, we flap our wings like a seagull and we hit our shoulders. But these are two options where the first one is the hardest at the bottom, but this cable Y raise is actually hardest in the middle of the rep. So we're challenging the deltoid in different areas, which is a great way to help get a good muscle growth stimulus. Now, the next superset here is going to be for arms. So we're doing a incline cable bicep curl, which is really awesome. Once again, it's the hardest at the bottom. So we're getting the bicep in a stretched position right here. So we want to make sure that our elbows are slightly behind our torso and our arms are straight at the bottom of the rep so that we're getting this nice deep stretch in the bicep, which is awesome for hypertrophy and getting jacked. And then we just turn around and do the exact same thing facing in. This is called a low pulley bicep curl, and it's got pretty much the exact opposite resistance profile of the last exercise. It's the hardest at the top instead of at the bottom. So it hits the biceps in two different places, or it's hard at two different places, which is really good for getting a well-rounded stimulus for your arms. So this is a crazy bicep superset, which is really awesome. You don't have to move, you just literally turn around. Now, the next superset has the same exercise in it as well, the incline cable bicep curl, once again with your elbows behind your torso, arms straight at the bottom, coming up fast and controlling 2 to 3 seconds on the way down, getting the bicep in the deep stretch position, breathing in on the way down and breathing out as you lift the weight. And then instead of doing another bicep exercise, we're going to be doing an antagonistic superset, which is a fancy way of saying two muscles that oppose each other in a superset. So we're doing biceps, and this is a tricep exercise. And I chose this cross cable tricep extension because you may not have seen it. It's a bit of a unique one because it hits the tricep in the long head. And it's one that not many people know of and know how to do correctly. So this is the cross cable tricep extension, where there's actually no handles on the cable. You're just grabbing the balls in your hands. Well, there we go, bit of a 6 innuendo there, and you're pulling it down to your sides. Now moving on to the next superset, we are grabbing a straight bar, putting the cable all the way down to the bottom, and just doing a good old-fashioned cable bicep curl. Now, you'll see my elbows aren't going directly down, they're going slightly in front of the body, and that's just to keep the tension on the biceps throughout the entire rep. And then when you finish your reps, you put the cable all the way to the top, and then you start pushing down with a tricep push down. Now with the tricep push down, what you want to try and do is keep your elbows as still as possible, and think of just straightening your arms and bending your arms, as opposed to actually moving your elbows forward. Try to keep your elbows still. I'm trying to do it. Keep them as still as possible, and then just push down towards your toes. And this is getting the triceps in the shortened position when they're straight. Now we're moving on to a really, really awesome chest superset. So we're doing a cable crossover fly here, where we're crossing over and swapping hands that cross over. So this time my left hand's gonna go over, and the next one my right's gonna go over, and you just keep alternating as you continue to work your way up the reps. Now this is a decline cable crossover fly, and then we're going to do that pretty much until fatigue, and then we go straight into something called a costal cable chest press, which is like a chest press, but it's done on the cable machine. Now instead of flying, I haven't had to move the cables. I'm just going straight into a costal cable chest press, which is focusing on the costal division of the chest, or the lower chest. So a great place that people want to focus on to really get that lower chest cooking. Now, as you can see, it's not a fly at all. I'm bringing my arms back as if they're dumbbells and really squeezing at the top. But the stretched position as well is getting a big focus with my arms coming back. Now, we have a squat rack free and our gym's busy. So what we're going to do is squat. This is a barbell back squat. You should have seen this before. If you get this when the gym's busy, you are lucky. Count your blessings, go buy a lotto ticket, because this is a very rare thing in a busy gym, so make the most of it. So what I'm showing here is a nice compound squat. Barbell on the back, elbows pulling down, shoulders pulling down on the barbell, elbows up to keep a nice stiff upper back, squatting ass to grass, and then we don't move because the gym's busy, and we're doing a reverse Nordic curl. Now this is a great exercise for the quads as well, hitting it in the stretched position. Now if you do this like I'm doing straight after squats, this burns like a biatch. It is a burner. All you need is your body weight, and all I could get after that squat of a pretty pathetic 60 kg, I'm just using to display here, I could only get 6 reps. And look, I'm struggling. I can hardly get up. 6 reps and I'm cooked. So this is really awesome. All you need is the ground. What you can do to make it easier on your knees is just put down a mat if you want. I didn't really feel the need because the rubber floor is enough. Now this exercise, the Romanian deadlift, the RDL. Now when you have a squat rack and the gym's busy, you really want to make the most of you having the squat rack and choose really, really great exercises. And a great one for the hamstrings and the glutes is the Romanian deadlift. All we're doing is pushing our butt back, slight bend in our legs, so we get that stretch in our hamstrings, but also that stretch in the glutes as well, coming up and squeezing the butt. We don't have to thrust the hips all the way forward. We just have to get that nice stretch down the bottom. And then we're going into a single leg glute bridge. So once again, you're not going to lose the squat rack because you're right in front of it. You just rack the weight, hit the floor, put one leg on the floor, and drive with your leg through the floor. Now, if you do have a weaker leg by any chance, let's say it is your left leg, like I'm doing here, you want to do that first. You do the weaker leg first, and then you match it with the stronger leg. You never want to do the stronger leg first, because you might just continue to make any imbalance you may have a bit worse. Now, we're doing the barbell bench press here. Now look guys, if the barbell isn't touching the chest, you're not doing any reps. Unless you're doing a spoto press or a spoto press, which I've talked about in other videos. The barbell has to touch the chest. So you want to get that nice deep stretch in the chest. And what I'm doing here is supersetting it with a decline push-up. Now, as you can see, I got my head there and then I start to stick my chin up, because if I keep my head like this, my nose is going to hit the floor before my chest. But if my chest hits the floor, I'm getting the deepest chest stretch that I can get with this exercise, and that's what I want because I'm going for the chest. The shoulders and tricep are always going to help in this exercise, but we're doing bench press straight into push-ups. That is an awesome chest superset, also while getting some shoulders and triceps as well. Now this exercise here is the incline dumbbell chest press, and it's only one click up. So it's not a very steep incline. It's not even 30 degrees or 45 degrees. It's more of a 15-degree incline. This is a really strong exercise. My feet are corkscrewed into the ground, glutes are squeezed, dumbbells coming all the way down to the shoulders, and then as soon as I finish, I just flip around and I do the prone dumbbell row. Now this is an awesome chest back superset. So once again, it's an antagonistic superset where we're doing opposing muscle groups in the same superset. I would wait around 60 seconds between each exercise just to get a little bit of rest, but it's awesome because whilst you're working your back like this, your chest is resting from the set that you did, and then you can just go back and do the other one. It's a really efficient way to train. Now, since we have a bench and dumbbells, that's what we're displaying here. If you're in a busy gym, you got a free bench and you got some dumbbells, here are some options. You've got a million options, but these are some. And this is one that I've actually been doing lately in my program. It's the seated dumbbell lateral raise. I like to drive my tippy toes onto the floor like that. I think it helps me to be nice and strong. Arms 30 degrees in front of the body. So I pre-fatigue the lateral head of the shoulders, and then I go into some seated dumbbell overhead presses. What a lot of people do is they go, oh, it's shoulder day, I'll do some overhead presses first, but that's hitting the anterior deltoid. What I'm personally working on at the moment is getting width in my shoulders, getting wider shoulders. And the lateral raises are amazing for working that, so I prioritize them first, and then I do the seated dumbbell overhead press after that. My strength is impaired because I've just done some shoulders beforehand, but I'm working the width, which is always really good for me. Now we're going to be doing a lower body superset with the bench. So once again, with the Bulgarian split squat, the leading leg is the working leg, and I'm trying to get as much range of motion as possible, pushing my knees over my toes there and staying nice and upright and honest. Actually, a bit of a slight lean forward with my torso to get a bit of that glute working too. And then once we're done that, we're doing a B stance hip extension. So the working leg here is the right one, that's 90 degrees. And then the leg that's a little bit more extended out is just a leg to stabilize the movement. It's not actually doing anything, and I'm holding a dumbbell on the working leg just to make it that little bit harder. So this is, instead of doing a single leg hip extension and kind of like flopping around and it being really hard for your balance, that left leg is stabilizing there. Now, we've moved on to a superset where we don't have a bench available. All we have are dumbbells. So what we're doing here is elevating our feet with some little 1 kilo dumbbells and getting some nice deep range of motion quad squats. Now with our heels elevated and our knees pushing really far over our toes, we're getting a really deep stretch in our quads. So this is really cool. If you can't get a bench and you just have dumbbells, this is the option. And then we just superset that with some dumbbell walking lunges. You don't have a bench to protect, you don't have a leg extension machine to protect, you just have some dumbbells, so you can just do some walking lunges through the sea of people in your busy ass gym. This is a great option. A really good cue to think about with these walking lunges is to make sure that you're walking like you're on, or lunging like you're on a railway track instead of like you're on a tightrope. Now, this exercise here, we have the standard dumbbell lateral raise. Coming all the way up, I like to go around the bottom to top of my ear, so about ear height. Coming up, controlling it 2 to 3 seconds on the way down, and then we're going for a kneeling single arm dumbbell overhead press here. Now this is obviously a shoulder exercise, but it's also a core exercise because it's really hard to press a heavy weight overhead and stay upright. Your core has to engage to stop you from falling over. That's why I put my hand on my knee, and I'm not really squeezing my abs, but I can feel it working throughout the entire rep. This is a really underrated exercise that I love. And then you start with your weaker leg first, and then you go with the stronger after that and match the reps that you got on your weaker arm. Sorry, I should be saying. Now, what we're doing here is a dumbbell bent over rear deltoid fly. Coming all the way up, breathing out on your way up, and then breathing in on the way down. Now, because this exercise, you can't really be too strong with it. You can drive up the rep range. I like to go about 12 to 15, and I was only using about 3 kilo dumbbells there. And I'm supersetting that with a dumbbell bent over row. I'm trying to emulate a busy gym here. So if you just have access to dumbbells, like all the benches are taken, all the cables are taken, the machines are taken. These are some awesome options for you. So here we're hitting the rear deltoids with the dumbbell fly bent over, the exercise before this, and then that was a bent over dumbbell row hitting the rhomboids. Now we're doing a superset where we don't even have access to dumbbells. We just have our body weight. So this is going to be a bit of a triple mechanical drop set. We're doing diamond push-ups for as many as we can, and then we're hitting tricep push-ups. Now, because these are a bit easier, after going to full fatigue in the tricep, in the diamond push-ups, we should go to full fatigue with our tricep push-ups, really push it, see how much we can get, go to failure, and then once again, we make it a little bit easier and go with our hands wider. And this is an awesome way to really fatigue yourself with no equipment at all. The gym's super busy, but that's all good because it's chest day or shoulder day or push day, tricep day, whatever day you want to call it, and you're just going for it. Now, this is the last superset of them all, and it's as if you have no equipment at all, and it's leg day. I'm doing jump squats until failure, not until I can't jump anymore, but until I can't really get a decent height and decent amount of reps out with decent form. So we do that until failure, and then we just do body weight squats until failure. Obviously that wasn't true failure, guys. I'm just trying to show you what happens here. So this is the body weight squat, obviously prioritizing technique all the time, coming down nice and slow, ass to grass, and then driving up nice and fast. You take that to fatigue as well. So you go jump squats into body weight squats, and then you go into pulses like this. So still 3 seconds all the way down, but then you're just coming up to about halfway. And this is an amazing way just to really push yourself to failure. Look at me, I'm cooked. The quads are cooking. Whee.
There we have it. Those are some supersets that you can do in a busy gym if you get caught with certain pieces of equipment. The squat rack, the leg extension, well, my brain is fried. Dumbbells, not having dumbbells, no equipment at all. These are supersets that you can do whether it's busy or not. And you can use these exact ones, but you can also use this kind of template and the explanations that I've given you as a rough guide to then expand and grow upon and take your training into your own hands. If you don't want to, you can always use Team Block Ashby for coaching, links in the description. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, there'll be one over here or over there. It'll be that side. Dan's saying it's on that side, so it'll be there. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. I'll get back to you. See you later. See the calf flex? You missed it.
I thought it was a bicep flex.
What isn't flexed?